Look, one of the themes we want to explore tonight on the panel is the whole concept of personal productivity. And just out of interest, Tom, in your business where it's a one-man band and you're managing millions of dollars, how do you go about organising yourself to be productive?
Well, in a sense, I'm fortunate because my day is very much determined by when the stock market opens and closes. So I simply have to be there and ready to go at 10 a.m. and after 4 o'clock it all just stops. And in addition to that, I write a list of things to do and I cross them all off every day.
Okay, sounds like a pretty straightforward vanilla approach, Lib.
Sounds like he's the only person that writes it, takes everything off his list. Yeah, I do the list thing, but I try and be, the way I work is I try to be a little bit flexible with some kind of life-work balance, so that suits.
Life-work balance. Well, look, we went out onto the street to actually ask Australians how they go about managing their time, being productive at work. Let's go and see what they've got to say, and then we'll have a bit of a discussion about it.
I believe I am, yes. I wouldn't hold my position if I didn't.
I work freelance, so I suppose my whole life has been one of trying to avoid ever to become a productive staff member.
I'm a manager, so I usually plan it the whole week in advance.
Basically, we use the computer diary system and we work on a flow chart, so we program our week ahead.
If there's reactive tasks and non-reactive tasks, tasks which have high priority, low priority.
I just get in there and do what has to be done.
I don't know, I just like to get on top of everything as much as I can every day.
We're in hospitality, so if it's busy, it's you don't have time to plan, it's just customers there, do it.
Honestly, maybe 30%. Maybe about 20%.
On a 6-hour shift, maybe half an hour if we're lucky.
Around about between 10 and 15%.
Too much time, really.
Okay, Mr. Too Much Time there at the end has totally thrown me. But the freelancer, I thought, has been trying to avoid it all his life. It's like, may the force be with the freelancer. Well, Phil Noble, what do you think's going on there with these people and the way they go about it? Does it make sense what they're saying?
I actually don't think it does. I'm quite taken back. I thought they'd be a lot more aware of the way they plan their time every day, and most people were a little bit vague about it, and I don't think they actually had a process that they go through on a day-to-day basis.
Mel, over at Candle Recruitment, is there a bit of a process?
Yeah, well look, I think you try to apply it, but I guess in any sort of service industry, one of the girls was talking about hospitality, it's very responsive according to your customers' needs. So if things are really busy, the best laid plans tend to get thrown out the window. Yeah. I try the listing too, and sometimes it just falls apart and that just gets transferred to the next day for things to do.
Well, but the list works for Tom. He gets them all ticked off every day.
He's the only human being in the world
I'm very careful about what I put on the list. Don't put anything too hard.
Top there. 3 things: get up, share market opens, eat lunch, go home.
I really like Libby's approach because it's important to think about not just how many things you're going to get done, but what you're doing and whether you're sort of matching up to other aspects of your life, not just about work. It's really
I know,
important to do that.
because in terms of this whole non-work related thing, because information works so quickly, we now have email, we have fax machines, that kind of thing. You're going at such a pace to go out and actually do your banking at lunchtime and line up in that big long line. You will do your internet banking at work, you will do other things at work, and I think it's just part of the way the working culture is.
Well, that of course has been one of the big changes, is that I always used to focus on how you could do personal things but make it look like work. One of the things about email and surfing the net is, you're sitting there at a computer. I remember pre-internet, and we are going back a few years, where I used to train myself if I was a bit tired to be sort of asleep while on my telephone. and to the casual observer, I looked like I was talking to someone, but they didn't want to look a second time because then sometimes my head would hit the desk.
One of the things that really struck me about it is that there's a lot of sort of like getting things done, and getting things done is being productive. And I remember years ago someone saying to me, look, it's one thing to be out in the jungle with the sickle, sort of, cutting through all the trees and sort of getting things done. But then someone climbed up to the top of the tree and I said, hang on, wrong jungle.
Yeah,
so the idea of like what actually is critical and the most valuable, at least taking a bit of time to do that, it's clearly got to be more important than just getting lots of things done.